Guys, happy Saturday. How we doing? Sunday, it's not even Saturday. Just about to head to the gym, but I wanted to record a short vlog today. It's going to be my first of one of these. Just talking you guys through a little bit of how I got to where I am today. So, for anyone who doesn't know who the fuck I am, my name is George Lewinsky. I run a business called Coach's Corner. May or may not have just ruined something that's coming up for us pretty soon, but anyway. We grow online fitness businesses. So far, over the last 3 years, we have helped to generate £17 million in brand new business for online fitness coaches across the globe. The business itself, or as a coach myself, I've been in the industry for just shy of a decade now, having started as a personal trainer, online coach, coaches, and then later mentored coaches. But that's a little bit more about me. I've just moved to Dubai, literally. Let me step outside real quick, show you guys the view. So I just moved to Dubai. I've been here now for 8 weeks. This isn't actually my long-term home. This is like my temporary place for now. I'm still kind of trying to figure out exactly where I'm gonna live long-term. So this is my place. This is Business Bay. That is the bay. And this is the business, I guess you can say. That's cringy as shit, but we're just gonna roll with it. But yeah, so, what I was going to talk about in today's video, which I'll break down across the day, is how I hit my first 20k month doing things by myself. Now, I've worked with stuff in the past, yes I have. Over the past 8 years, the largest our team grew to was, at one point we had 11 staff members. Now what I'm about to say is going to surprise you guys. At the moment, there are 2 of us. Now you may be thinking, interesting. A mentor running things with a 2-person setup. Why is that the case? I didn't grow my business to get rich. I grew my business to build impact. And the result of building it to create impact meant that revenue flew. Because I was in alignment with the way that I wanted to build it. Now, if I wanted to build the business to make as much money as possible, there would certainly be a few hires coming up that I would be looking for. Now, of course, we know that the definition of business is problems, and the way to solve problems is money and people. So, of course, there are certainly going to be investments made. But for me, I'll be real with you guys. Like, I enjoy simplicity. I like the simple things in life. I like waking up in the morning and grabbing a coffee and reading a book. I love going to the gym and going for a swim. I love walking along the beach. I love chilling with my friends. I love playing golf. Like, I'm not somebody who built this because I want to buy a Ferrari or a mansion or any of that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, those things are cool. But I built my business because I love impacting lives. Of course, the money is great. I'm not going to bullshit you guys. The money is awesome. And it allows me to do stuff like this, like live in Dubai and have a cool life. But I wanted to focus specifically on the 20K because when I was running my fitness business, we converted from a company called Team Lewinsky Fitness to Coach's Corner. And I think that rebranding really helped us to kind of scale the business, because the message of Team LF, when people heard the name Team LF, like, they weren't really sure, like, what were the solutions they were offering, what were you providing, like, what actually was it that helped us to stand out. And I think that when we shifted into Coach's Corner, the one thing that I asked my clients before we changed the name was, if I had to get rid of everything in my business, and I'd highly recommend for those of you who work in a service-based business that you do this at some point, we just asked straight, we're like, look, if we had to get rid of every single thing in a business but keep one thing, what would we keep? And categorically, the thing they said, we just love that you're always there for us, you're always supportive, and you're always in our corner. So I was like, right, well, I coach coaches, I'm always in their corner, Coach's Corner, it just fucking makes sense. So that's why we rebranded to that. And I think that, for me, what I've noticed is that over the last probably year to 2 years, as I've been a lot more vocal online about my story, about my motivations, about my ambitions, about why I do what I do, I've attracted a hell of a lot more guys who want to do the same. We work with guys and girls. I'd say the common thing or the common theme of coaches that join us is they've already been coaching for a few years. They are stuck in their business. They get great results. They have been on Instagram perhaps for 3, 4, 5 years. They're already earning decent money, but they don't know how to scale it. They don't know how to scale their impact because, like me and like the mistakes I made, they thought that they had to do everything themselves. And ironically, over the last sort of few months, we've shifted into more of like a consultancy setup, whereby, all of my clients have an opportunity to work with me on a one-to-one basis, in terms of having their business plan built, their check-ins delivered, work complete for them. And look guys, I'm highly aware that this isn't as scalable, but one nugget of advice that I'm going to give you guys all on here is, the reality is, if you want to get rich, whatever your definition of rich is, you need to get very good at solving rich people problems. And the way that you get good at solving rich people problems is to actually have skills, okay? And the way that you develop skills is by investing a percentage of your income every single month. My golden standard, and whatever this looks like for you, cool. But my golden standard has always been, I would always take roughly 30, I know this is high, 30 to 40% of my monthly income, and I'd put that directly into investments every single month. And I'm fully aware that that's high. And doing that with those numbers almost broke me twice. The reason it didn't break me twice is because it depleted my bank account on two separate occasions. So it depleted it in 2019 and again in kind of 2022, 2023. Like fucking, I invested a lot. We're talking like hundreds of thousands of pounds. But if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have the skill sets I have today. I wouldn't be, sharing this information with you guys. So I guess the first piece of advice in this video is like what got our fitness business to 20K months with literally 2 staff members. First things first was those numbers, 30 to 40%. Now, if those numbers, if you've just sat down with a calculator and figured that out and those numbers terrify you, start at 20. Start at 20. You can work your way up, but for me, 30 to 40% has been a fucking godsend. I'd say my second piece of advice for growing to 20K months is to be coachable. I think that a lot of successful coaches will start coaching maybe 30, 40, 50 clients. In fact, you know what? No, I don't think this actually applies to the client numbers, because I've started coaching people in the past who wouldn't listen and said that they knew best when they had 3 clients. So I don't know if it necessarily applies to that. And if that triggers you, then I'm sorry. But you have to be coachable if you're going to grow your business. Ultimately, guys, the number one thing that holds a good coach back is their ego. What I mean by that is we jump on a consultation and they spend the first 20 minutes of the call selling themselves to me about how great they are. And then we get to the back end of the call and they say that they're not willing to invest any money in their business. And it baffles me, because we all know that the greatest at anything in the world, whether it be Tiger Woods with golf or Roger Federer with tennis or Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or football, whoever it is, like they've all had a team and all had coaches surrounding them at all given points, because they're all coachable people. So I think that my second piece of advice, like if you are looking to scale a business that truly impacts lives, you have to be coachable. If you're not, you need to work on that. This is Business Bay. It's another cool thing about the Buy guys is that they fill up. I don't know if you can see that, but they fill up your cars for you. So you literally drive the car in. They'll have people working at the gas station. Thank you very much. Have people working at the gas station who will just do everything for you. And I think this is why I love the Buy so much. It's just everything is just insanely convenient. So what I'm doing now is I'm literally just going on a little digestion walk. Coaches, you should all be telling your clients to do this. All it is, you have a meal, you walk for 10 minutes. Simple as. Helps to digest your food, assimilate nutrients, partition them where they want to be partitioned. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go into my third tip. I just want to get around here because I want to see if we can get in some shade. My third tip for 20K months would be to improve your retention, guys, because I think that a lot of coaches seem to think that they need to be constantly in their DMs, spamming people's scripts, trying to get people to sign up to their coaching. But I personally believe you need to earn the right to lead gen. No one ever says this. No one ever says this. So if you have like a coaching agreement or a coaching contract whereby someone has to sign up and be like, right, you sign this and you stay on for 3 months, that's bullshit. The reason that's bullshit is because no one's going to change their life in 3 months. Like nobody is going to do that unless you're running some form of like paid challenge whereby there's a very specific program that someone's signing up for a very specific time frame. And even with that, a good mentor will teach you how you can, essentially keep those guys on to then continue to coach them and like what that process looks like. That's the key to the challenges, by the way. But with the whole retention piece, it's just remembering that your sole purpose as a coaching business is to get your clients results. And the best results you're ever going to get for your clients, usually you would have been working with them for 1 to 2 years, not months, years. So like, let me give you an example. Let's say someone comes to you as a newbie and they want to get like elite level results. They might have to do an initial pullback period where they diet for say 8 to 10 weeks. They then may need to reverse for 3 to 4 weeks. Their building phase then may go in 2 blocks. A 4-month block with a few weeks to pull back, another 4-month block with a few weeks to pull back. By that point, they've done 10 months, then going for a dieting phase that could last them 16 to 20 weeks. By the time you got to that point, you've been coaching for 1.5 years. They've completely changed their life, completely elevated their own physique results. And those are the guys who are going to be referring you to their mates. When they're referring you to their mates, they've told like 10 of their friends because they can't believe how good the service is. And then the business grows through that. And I think that a lot of coaches who begin with Coach's Corner, what they'll do is when they start out, they're like, all of my clients at the moment are through word of mouth, they're all through, referrals, which is amazing. That's a sign that you're sat on a gold mine. And what I mean by that is, if you're a coach who says you can't get referrals, the reason is you're not good enough. That's the brutal, honest truth. Now, of course, we do sometimes have clients who, maybe you've got, 5, 10 clients, you're not getting referrals. Sometimes people just don't really have that many friends who go gym. That's fair game. Like, I've got people, I've helped clients to lose 80 pounds and no one in their life is into fitness, so they couldn't refer anyone. Fair game. However, if it's a consistent theme that you never get word of mouth clients or referrals, you need to get better at your service delivery. So the third thing I would advise, if you want to hit 20K months, and again, the reason I'm talking about this is because, we got there. I said at the start of the video that I did it by myself. I had a staff member who was helping me out for 2 hours a day. So there was 2 of us, but it was me and then I had a staff member helping me for 2 hours. But if you want to get to 20K months, then LTV is very, very important. Because think of it this way, right? Let's say every single client who joins on board with you, you charge them £200 a month, and on average they stay with you for 4 months. That LTV is £800. And every 4 months, you've got to refill that bucket back up again. So you're just constantly booking in calls, closing people, joining on board, getting somewhat of a result and then leaving again, right? If, however, you were charging somebody £200 a month and they stayed with you for 2 years, my maths is terrible, but I mean, what's that going to equate to? Well, it's going to be over £4,000, isn't it? It's going to be like £4,500. So the difference of £800 and £4,500, if you span that out over 1 to 2 years, your business is going to be making a hell of a lot more money. Obviously, this takes time and there's going to be like a compounding effect of that, but the compounding effect of the result, the referrals, the word of mouth, the guys they're talking to, like all of these things are what really build the foundation of a fantastic business. And when you see these amazing coaches doing incredible numbers, whether it be with their clients, with their results, with their income, like that's a huge, huge, huge element of what it is. And yes, we all know marketing, content, like it's all important. If you're not a very good coach, then you're not going to build the business you're looking to build. And look, I'll be honest, this is going to sound harsh. I know coaches who aren't very good at their job and they make a lot of money. And the reason they make a lot of money is because they absolutely market like crazy. They have clients joining on board and they all leave within 4 months. These guys are stressed out of their minds. I meet them in person. They've got bags under their eyes. They're telling me that, every single week they're taking 20 sales calls and their business isn't growing. And you just kind of have to step back and think, if you're taking 20 sales calls per week, if people were like truly wanting to work with you, of those 20, you probably have 15 sign up. Those 15 guys should be staying with you for a year. So if you're doing that every single week, these guys should be working with 400 clients, but they're not. They're working with 80 clients and they're struggling to fill up the second coach because the delivery's not fixed. So that is the reason I'm spending so long on this one is because that is so important to building a fantastic business, is making sure you can improve LTV by actually delivering a far better service. And the way that you do that, hire someone that's where you want to be. Hire someone that's ahead of you, I could name drop on this, but like I've worked with some of the best coaches in the industry. I really have, coaches who have, created worldwide brands, coaches that have, put literally hundreds of people on stage. I've worked with coaches who ultimately have helped forge my understanding of service delivery, of a brand, of what kind of results that clients can achieve. I've worked with mentors who have done the same. I've worked with mentors who are literally based all over the world, and a lot of these guys have helped to generate millions and millions and millions of pounds every single year. And these guys are the cream of the crop. For example, the mentor I'm working at the moment, he's incredible. He's been working within the space for 30 years, I want to say. And I'm learning directly from this guy. I'm kind of refining my methodology and then, kind of throwing away what's not working for us, what is working for us, like building that out, thinking through it, putting our own spin on it, kind of working through our own methodology. And then once we feel like we've nailed it and we're confident with it and we know that it works, then we then teach that on. And that's essentially how coaching works, You learn through doing, not through just listening and absorbing. Like you actually implement the thing, you trial the thing. So anyway, guys, I'm going to head back now, but I'll leave you guys with 2 more tips. The fourth tip I'd give you guys is to make sure that you're always telling your story. So a good example of this, right? I'll break this down from newbie all the way to experienced. If you're a newbie, if you've just got in the shape of your life, it's actually not a picture of you with your abs that's going to get you clients. It's the picture of you overweight and sad and depressed and lonely. That's what's gonna evoke that emotion. The before, okay? Nowadays, trust is lower than ever online, and people need to see how you went through your transformation. I mean, fuck, I put up a reel not too long ago, and it was a video of me working away in my mum's kitchen, you know, building my coaching business, and that's more relatable than me sat in a fucking Ferrari being like, look how cool I am, you know? People need to see that transformative journey. Another example of that, right, is if you are genuinely in incredible shape, like if you've got a complete physique and you're not sharing what you eat, how you train, you know, your hard days, your achievements, how you did it, what it looks like, how to train, how to move, how to improve your mobility, how to improve your sleep, how to improve your energy, how you then started talking to more guys or talking to more girls or felt more confident or could go out and socialize, or, you know, you worked on your mindset, or how much happier you became. If you're not sharing that transformative journey, then, you know, you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. So nowadays with social media, like, you must be storytelling, you must be sharing with people like exactly how you got from point A to point B, because that is the biggest selling point. I'm telling you now, guys, if you've not been to this gym in Dubai, you need to come in. It's fucking sensational. I'm gonna sit on them steps over there and talk through the last piece. Yo guys, my final piece of advice for 20Ks is you have to be fucking relentless. You do. I think that a lot of people are looking for the next tactic. Don't get me wrong, we taught a training recently to our guys called Acquisition Genesis, and within that there was 8 different ways that you can gain a client, and none of them involved ads, none of them involved having to hire a team or having to have a large Instagram or have any kind of stuff, and none of them involved just spamming people random stuff on Instagram. They were systems that were put in place specifically to help coaches pick up clients without doing any of those things, bringing people to you through a plethora of different strategies. But I can teach all of the strategies, all of the tactics. You know, I can help a coach get in alignment with their values and with their vision. You know, I can give people the structure of what to do, when to do it, why to do it, how it needs to be done, what they can expect to receive off the back end. But you do have to be fucking relentless. You know, the best coaches in the industry, the best guys that I know of, they're like Terminator level hard to kill. And what I mean by that is, like, they're not afraid of working across the weekend if they have to get something done. You know, they're not afraid of, if the best coaches in the world, if they had to get up at 4 a.m, they would get up at 4 a.m. You know, if they had to create content every single week without fail, otherwise their business would collapse, like, they'd get it done. Like, the best coaches in the industry, reality is, like, depending on where you're at within your business, the best coaches in the industry will approach their business as if they're not busy when they have 100 clients on the books, because they are just fucking on it. They wake up at the same time, they go to bed at the same time, they check in at the same time, they do calls at the same time, they do content at the same time. Like, everything is like bam, 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 structure. And I honestly think, like, the biggest difference between coaches who are struggling and coaches that aren't, who are smashing it, is just being relentless with your structure, with your systems, and with your standards. And I think if structure, systems, or standards drop, you're screwed. So guys, I hope this video was helpful today. I do actually have a vlog coming out of us training in Oxygen. It's quite an old vlog. I hadn't uploaded it yet, but I will upload it. You can see that I'm peak bulk in the vlog that I'll upload. But if you guys like these raw types of content, do let us know. I kind of set myself a little bit of goal to do more raw stuff, so I can certainly do that. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one.